Guys, what's going on? Just heading back home from work. Once again in the rain. Nice and pleasant. This time I decided to take the R6 to work because weather forecast said it was meant to be good. Well, hopefully this isn't good weather to most people. It sure ain't good weather to me. I was thinking about going into Bunnings because I want to pick up a hammock before I go camping on the weekend. But I'm definitely going to go home first and jump in the car. Don't want to be out riding around in this on my bike, really. Also, I don't have my backpack with me, so that would make it a bit difficult to try and carry a hammock home in this weather on a bike. Would have to like lay it across here and then try and steer with it or sort of put it between my laps. I've been able to carry like a couple bags of shopping home. I've tried that once before on my 250, but that wasn't in wet weather, and I was able to put most of them on my elbows and sort of carry it that way. I think I put one in my lap. I put like a roast chicken up underneath my visor. First world problems, definitely. I always get home and my parents are like, we heard you from so far away, that bike is so loud, you need to do something about it. I do plan on getting a quieter pipe because some of the tracks that I want to get out to have noise restrictions. But this thing just hums at such a orgasmic tone. I don't want to. I don't wanna. So as I mentioned previously, I've got a track day coming up. Need to be booking that this weekend. I think tomorrow I need to book it. And then it's for the following weekend out at a track called Morgan Park. Just with the weather as it is, me and my brother were waiting it out, and as well as a couple other guys that are planning on going out there, we're waiting it out before we make the booking to check the weather. Because unfortunately, with most of the track days that are held around here, unless the weather is absolutely ridiculous and the track's getting flooded, they'll still run the event. It can be pouring down in rain, but as long as the track's still clear and the track itself isn't, you can't really say dangerous, because I mean water on the track is dangerous, but they still run it anyway. So we don't really want to be spending $200+ on a track day to then be out there in weather like this where we can't really enjoy it at all. It'd be almost pointless. Probably more worth our while to just go home. The guy in that car just there, he's one of the guys that I work with, so he's definitely got to be laughing at me at the moment, having to ride through this oh, I can feel the water going down my arms. Oh, I'm definitely going to go home and get changed after this. Thank God to whoever invented waterproof pockets in their motorbike jackets. That was definitely smart thinking. I'm sure a lot of people's phones got toasted from riding out in jackets without waterproof pockets. I'm just going to stay nice and tucked. Unfortunately, I get the feeling, I'm not positive, I'll have to check when I get home, but if I'm filming with me tucked on the R6 like this, because I've got this black tinted visor right here, it came with the bike when I bought it, but because I've got that as opposed to the 250 in the rain when I was tucking down yesterday, having the tinted one, probably not going to be able to see much. I hope that's not the case. I hope visibility is still alright, but we'll just have to see. I'm so disappointed because I checked the weather report this morning and it said it was meant to be clear. It said possible shower in the morning and that was about it, but this sucks. Something that just got passed in Queensland. It came through in the middle of last week. Uber has been banned in Queensland. I think the only Uber services that are being provided now are Uber X, which I'm not sure on this. I mean, I've only used Uber a handful of times sort of to get home from the city or valley when I'm out with mates having a few drinks. But I believe UberX is sort of more like a taxi service, and the drivers generally have nicer cars. Actually, I'm not sure whether that's UberX. I think that might be Uber Black or something. I don't know. But anyway, UberX is the only service that's provided now. Just a standard Uber that you used to get is no longer around because they upped the fees, the charges. It used to be $2,000, I think, to the driver. Oh no, sorry, it's come up to $2,000 for the driver, and something like $32,000 for whoever the provider is, being Uber. Like the administration charges have gone up to that. So Uber, I think, have just come along and been like, yep, nope, not worth it anymore. Queensland can just go self themselves. And this is all courtesy of the taxi drivers who charge ridiculous amounts, as well as the government have stepped in, and they're the ones that said, oh yeah, we need the taxi drivers because they have to pay a ridiculous amount to the government in order to get that taxi license. So if the government's not going to be making as much money off of Uber, then of course we can't have that. It's like, come on. Like, what are you thinking? It's basically just putting more car and more congestion on the road. It's stopping people who used to have a way home. They would, from basically stopping drunk driving, because people would be using Uber instead, because taxis are just way too expensive. I mean, a taxi for me to get from the city to home costs something like around, it's close to $100. It's like $80 something from the city to my place. I'm not going to pay $80 to get a taxi home, when an Uber used to be $20 max. The government have really stuffed up on this one. Really stuffed up on this one. Yeah, it used to ease congestion on the roads through peak hour traffic, because the whole idea with Uber, even though there were people that did it 24/7, sort of like as a living, like a taxi driver basically, there were also a lot of drivers who would just turn it on and offer to give people lifts when they were, say, on their way to work or whatnot. They would turn it on, see who's around, see who needs a lift, if it's going in the same direction that they are. It was just a method of carpooling. So the government have stopped that. It's just, I don't know what they were thinking. I do not know what they were thinking. Delays, Centenary motorway, proceed with caution. Cool, so I need to watch out for cars stopping ahead. That's one thing I dislike about sitting behind four-wheel drives or trucks or SUVs. Ones that you sort of can't see through. See how this ute has like the tinted rear mirror, rear window? You can't see through it. Can be quite frustrating, because, not frustrating, but just because you can't see around it easily and see what the traffic's doing ahead. You end up having to leave just massive gaps because they could just slam on the brakes at any time. And here's the traffic up ahead. Here we are. Hopefully it's completely stopped so I can split down the side legally. Yeah, so I just can't see as to like how far ahead we need to brake. Sort of just like looking down the side, trying to figure it out. Think about now I can jump past. Yeah, we're about to stop now. So my mate who would have been laughing at me back there because of me riding along past him in the pouring down rain. I don't know. Not having to sit in this is going to be pretty good too. I definitely need to look into... Oh, that's not... Okay. I thought this van here was a truck with its bonnet up. Thought it might have broken down. Oh, wow, look at all this stopped traffic. One thing that's a shame is just up ahead around the corner. I think I pointed out to you guys yesterday. The side lane here stops and you have to merge in to the center. You can split down the center, but because it gets so tight, generally cars are sitting too close together. If I was on my 250, I'm fairly comfortable to go through and sort of judge the gap, but on the R6, I don't really want to. Jeez, check out that car. Don't know what that is. A race ute of some sort. I'm glad I got new shoes for just as riding to work and sort of ones that I can use to dance in. I've got proper riding boots that I ride when I'm going out fast, but I just went and bought these canvas shoes. They've got a nice material because the last ones that I had a pair of Nikes that I used to ride around in. The material that they were made out of was like a suede. I'm not sure whether it was legitimate suede, but it was a suede-ish type material. And on my shifter foot, basically the material all just fell apart on me. So I went and got these ones, hoping that the actual canvas material is fairly strong, as well as they don't have a lot of flex in the sole of them, which is good for a riding shoe, sort of give me a bit more protection. I'm not massive into my shoes, I just get shoes that I like the look of and I wear them. I don't care about brands or any of that shit. They're a nice shoe, nice comfortable shoe, and they do the job, that's all it needs to do. But yeah, so they're not quite as insane as like skate shoes or massive like high tops, but they've got a higher sidewall. They sort of cover my ankle bone, which I thought was a great idea, sort of give me a bit of protection on that too. I haven't had any trouble, so I'll mention it to you guys now, but I'll go into it in detail at a later stage. I've so far had 3 crashes on my motorbike, all of them on my CBR 250. One of them was my own fault, and 2 of them were it was sort of out of my control. There wasn't much else that I could have done. The second crash that I had, there was a few things that I could have done a little differently. Jeez, these cars are going slow. The second crash, there was a couple things different that I could have done to try and save the bike and not be in that situation. But the first crash was definitely out of my control, and the second crash was just me being silly and unaware, lazy basically. But yeah, in those crashes I've never had any problems with my shoes. I'm pretty sure 2 of them I had my Nikes on, and they still survived quite well. So I like to be cautious when I'm out on the bike. I'll almost always wear helmet, jacket, gloves. It's kind of silly not to. There's been times when I haven't worn my jacket, say when I'm at work and I want to go up the road to get a bite to eat and I'm not going out with the other fellas, so I need to take my bike. I've done that once or twice, just like left my jacket and gone up, but it's just around the corner. I don't know, I should wear it every time because it's generally the times where you're just going around the corner is where you have your accidents. But yeah, I just got lazy on those occasions. What's out there? That looks like a damn motorbike jump. Oh no, it's a driveway. Just the shape of it and the contrast from the grey sky made that look like a massive dirt jump. It looked like a free ride jump. Anyway, yeah, so I haven't worn my jacket like twice, but I generally always wear, well, I always wear my helmet. That's, by law, you have to wear a helmet in Australia, and you would be an absolute fool not to. It's your head, like one knock on it and you can just be out for good. You're a fool if you think that, oh, that's not gonna happen and I don't need one. This road gets a bit off camber here, so I want to slow down, just take it easy. Don't really want to be dropping into those drains just there. Jump in front of a couple more cars. I might pull in front of this Toyota. No, I'll go in front of him up to the van, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to pull in here. Nice and safe. At least the rain stopped. That's an added benefit. Yeah, so I like to be as safe as possible. I'll always wear gloves because just like your head, your hands are the first thing you put onto the ground when you crash. And I've seen way too many images, and I know from my own personal experience from riding bikes, downhill bikes and push bikes my whole life, mountain bikes of the sort. Crashing without gloves on sucks. The skin on your hand is so thin, and the nerves underneath your hand are just so delicate. You just don't want to be ruining them. You're just throwing them away. But even just a $20 pair of gloves, I mean, I generally get nice gloves, nice protective gloves and comfortable gloves. But you can get a set of $20 gloves that are more than comfortable, if not cheaper. You can get gloves for $5. You just get a set of like motocross gloves, $5, comfortable as all hell. I mean, they don't give you as much protection, but at least it's something. It's not just your skin. I saw an ad campaign on a Facebook group that I'm a part of the other night, and it was basically going through the prices of your motorbike gear, and then it went through the prices of like human body parts and how much it would cost to replace them if you damage them. And the numbers don't lie. Like, I think they went over the top a little bit, but the main reasoning behind it is still there. The logic behind it's still there, that your body's just more expensive than the gear. So why would you want to risk it? Why risk it? Poor bugger. This car's broken down. What do you expect from a Commodore? I am so hooked on Moto GP at the moment. I started watching it towards the end of last year, and it has caught me hook, line and sinker. Watching the battle between Lorenzo Marquez, Rossi, Inone, at Phillip Island. Oh, that was just magical. That was absolutely awesome. And so since then, yeah, it was Phillip Island last year was the first one that I sort of watched. I've watched a couple glimpses and been like, oh yeah, that's cool, but sort of never really got into it. I think now that I'm actually like riding fast bikes, and I have a lot more of an appreciation to just what they go through when they're doing, like, riding at those speeds. It must just be unbelievable. But yeah, so from Phillip Island last year, which was 2015, I'm just absolutely hooked. Oh, I don't want to go down the side. Yeah, I'll go down a little bit. Let's come down to here. This will do me. That was going to do me, but that guy's going really slow. I don't think he was paying attention. He was looking out over the bridge. Now that I'm so hooked into MotoGP, I've become that addicted to it that I basically watch all the test rides, all the open sessions, all the qualifying and the races. Oh, it's so good. However, the last race it was on in, where was it? We just went from Austin to, it wasn't Qatar, back in Spain. Where's the race in Spain? Unfortunately, I don't know all the tracks that well, being that I've only started watching it towards the end of last year. I mean, Phillip Island I know because it's an Australian track, and I know a couple of them like Mugello, and the ones that have come past. Basically the ones where they had to test at. Where were they at? Spanish Grand Prix. Anyway, it was a Spanish Grand Prix, so wherever they hold it in Spain, Lorenzo's home track. That's why he's got a corner named after him there. So MotoGP was all cool and good and well, and watching, hopefully you guys have seen it by now. It was 2 weeks ago, or yeah, basically 2 weeks ago now. Rossi just dominated that race. He got out in front. He basically pulled a full Lorenzo style, which Lorenzo was doing last year, where he got out in front and just, yeah, he got overtaken once on the first lap. And that was it. He got overtaken, and then in the next corner, this was by Lorenzo, and then overtook Lorenzo back. and then after that he just kept pulling ahead. And so that was cool because Rossi's my fave. Rossi's my favourite in terms of personality, but Marc Marquez would be my favourite to watch. He's just such an entertaining rider, seeing him handle that Honda when it's squirming around from underneath him. It's awesome. It's a sight to behold. I definitely want to get down to Phillip Island and watch the MotoGP in years to come, definitely. But yeah, so MotoGP was all good and well. That was pretty cool to watch. But unfortunately, unlike the last few races of last year where just people were crashing out and overtaking moves were happening everywhere, that was sort of not the same in this race where, as I said, Rossi was just out in front and a couple of people crashed as they usually do and stuff. But I ended up watching the Moto 3 race because I saw a little comment that people were saying about the MotoGP race was sort of a bit dull because Rossi was just out in front the whole time, was unbeatable, which, I mean, he's put in the hard yards to do that. But I ended up, yeah, giving the Moto 3 race a bit of a squeeze. And oh my God. So what happened was, I'll give you the rundown. One of the, I don't think he was a wildcard entry, but one of the riders anyway, he hasn't won a Moto 3 race. I'm not sure if Moto 3 is still considered a GP race. I don't think it is. But he hasn't won a Moto 3 race anyway for this year. But he qualified second, I think it was. And then it was found out that he was running the wrong electronics. The electronics that he had on the bike weren't to standard. So he got given a penalty and had to start from the back of the grid, which in the Moto 3 race ended up being, oh no, her? No, I thought that might have been a friend's sister. Anyway, so he ended up having to start from the back of the grid, and being Moto 3, there was 35 riders. He was, well, 34 riders, and he was the 35th. He started from the back of the grid and ended up winning the race by 4 or 5 seconds. That is nuts. To you people out there who don't watch motorbike racing, that is just unreal. That never, ever happens. Like, that's something that'll go down in the history books. To be able to win like that. Every corner of every lap, he was overtaking like 2 or 3 people at least. It was nuts. Like, nobody could just keep with the same pace as him. He ended up making it up until I think it was about 15th spot, and then there was a massive group of riders from 15th till about 4th or 5th. And he was just cutting through them like butter. They just had nothing on him. He would just take inside line after inside line and was running rings around them, got up past all of them, and then the commentators were saying, oh, well, that's probably the best he'll do, because the first 3 riders had quite a large margin on him. They were about half a second up on him at that stage, and this was by about lap 10. Then he just kept gaining on them. He gaining and gaining. I think it only took him something like 2 or 3 laps before he was right on their tail. And then he got past them all, and every lap after that, he was just gaining another 200 hundredths of a second, just pushing ahead, more and more ahead. And yeah, so by the end of it, he was up by like 3 or 4 seconds. Oh, it was nuts. It was a Red Bull KTM rider, and that was awesome. Seeing that was awesome. People later, is it a girl? Is she hot? Is a better question. Nope. So I've got to apologize to everyone who's watched my first 2-3 videos. Just while I was editing them today, I had a mate watch over one of them and give me some feedback on it, and noticed that my mic setup, how I've got it recording to the GoPro, only records to one earphone. It's what's called a mono audio track, which I wasn't aware of that because when I did all the editing, I had both my headphones in, so it sounded normal to me. But he realized because he had one headphone in watching it and was like, wow, your voice is really quiet, and put the other one in and then realized, yeah, oh bugger, my audio isn't in stereo. So I've got to download a program tonight so that I can, or sort out a way anyway. Hopefully I don't have to download a program, but we'll find out anyway. I'll sort something out to fix the problem. I need to be able to make the audio from mono to stereo so it comes through each headphone equally. Oh, that's not the cop, is it? No. Lucky. It's not like I'm going to be going that fast anyway. The roads are this wet. And filthy. Oh, I can see a pushback rider. But yeah, so that problem should be fixed now. It should be fixed by my third or fourth video. I know the first two that I've uploaded, they've definitely got the issue. Basically, it just depends on when I get to actually editing the videos from now on. Because I've sort of finished editing the third video that I'm going to upload, so I don't know whether I'll go and change all of that audio and fix it up. As well as I'm sure you guys are aware, I have a bit of a soundtrack playing in the background just faintly. I personally like that touch. If you guys would prefer for me to just keep the raw audio, then let me know and I'll do so. When I'm out on the R6, when I put together a montage, because I won't be speaking, it'll mainly just be me writing, it'll definitely be just the audio, and I may sort of dull it down for if I need to say a couple things or if something interesting happens which you want to hear, but that'll predominantly be, oh hang on, now that I'm thinking about it and just running through that idea in my head, maybe not, because the sound of this bike is pretty amazing. So I think I may actually keep it how I've got it, but I might just lift up the level of the audio so it's a little bit clearer. We'll see how that goes. Basically, I'm just after feedback from you guys. Just anything that you want, let me know, and I'll work on it. Anyway, guys, I'm almost at home now, so I'll probably end the video here. I'm going out in the car to go pick up the stuff, so I won't be recording for the rest of the night anyway. Oh, that's not dirt, is it? No, I don't think it is. That had me worried. I've run into a couple dirt patches there before, but luckily that's not. That's just discoloration because of the rain on that part of tar. So yeah, I won't be recording later tonight with the weather how it is. Oh, should I jump out there? No, I'll play it safe because it's so wet. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and if you're interested in watching more videos and seeing more of my content, plan on releasing it fairly regularly. Hit the subscribe button, and yeah, I'll be creating playlists for all my moto vlogs, so you can check them out, as well as playlists for basically all the different things that I plan on doing on a regular basis, like my downhill, potentially my dance, adventures and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, keep an eye out for them. They'll come shortly. I might create the moto vlog one tonight, but anyway, keep your eyes peeled. Righto. Peace.